radio hour. Well, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow.
Golden Road Radio Hour explores the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology, paving the road for positive social change.
It's the Golden Road, a radio hour. It's the Golden Road, a radio hour.
All right, and welcome. We are the Golden Road Radio Hour, now morphing into a weekly television show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino. We have a great show for you here this evening. We're broadcasting live from BCAC TV here in Chico, in Butte County, and have a lot of great B-roll, some in-the-field footage. We have a lot of in-studio guests. We have Inspirations Poetry. And of course, as we do every week, we have DJ Power live in the studio. How you doing there?
How you doing out there? Real good, man. How you doing?
Good. What can we expect tonight?
Oh, you know, we got a little this, a little that. I hear some little old stuff.
Nice,
old
nice.
ones.
And I'm also joined here live in the studio with a few guests tonight, and we're going to be starting with Rahasya. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great. And you're the publisher of the Lotus Guide.
Publisher of the Lotus Guide, and we've been around for 12 years. It's one of the independent presses around here that supplies media news and information that corporate media normally doesn't cover.
Corporate media doesn't cover that?
Yeah, can you imagine?
I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, I knew this would be a new one.
Great.
Yeah, we're pretty happy to be here.
And how long have you been in publication?
12 years now, a little
Wow.
over 12 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, it's great to have you here on the show, and part of creating the show tonight and the magic that's happening in light of the recent election is people like yourself. You've been doing it for 12 years, but people are starting to realize the importance of community-based media, the importance of collaboration, and also to empower each other with information and knowledge, and inspire each other that we might not get from the corporate media. But before we go on, we're going to start with a little bit of some footage, and we are broadcasting again live here from Butte County Arts and Culture Television in Chico, but we're also simultaneously broadcasting in Nevada County, up in the Tahoe Truckee, Access Television there, and also in Sacramento, where we have our show every week there on Access Sacramento. But we also stream every week live on YouTube. So thanks for joining us. Wow. All right, keeping it bumping. Thank you, DJ Power. How you feeling tonight? You see that moon coming
real
up?
Good, man. Feeling real good. Had a lot of gigs lately. Getting ready for the DJ classes, December 3rd. Starting off, you know, and at the Connected Communities Green Screen.
Nice.
Just getting ready for that, man. So register for these classes, Grass Valley, Nevada City, 6 weeks. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And State of Healing weekend. Dove Moses, my manager, doing the State of Healing thing. Just came back from the Dakota stuff. We're going to talk about that another time, but that was heavy. A lot moving on, man.
All right.
The best show on the air, man.
Well, we're working on it,
So
so
life is
thanks
beautiful,
for
man.
being here and laying down the grooves every week.
Life is good, man. You know?
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching Golden Road Television. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino. We are broadcasting live from Chico downtown tonight with Butte County Arts and Culture Television. We're also broadcasting on YouTube and now into several surrounding counties, including Nevada County, Truckee, Tahoe, and all the way into Sacramento. And if you have a minute right now, look out your window at the moon, because right now we're getting a very special show, not only this show, which launched in August, but you're getting a show from the super moon, which hasn't appeared like this in really the last 30 or 40 years, and we probably won't see another one, maybe even in our lifetime. So check out the supermoon, but welcome to the show. We have a great one for you tonight. And I'd like to start off with our in-studio guest. And I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman a few months back. Of course, I've been reading his publication for years, but I had the honor to get to meet him recently and find out more about the Lotus Guide. And it looks like in light, not necessarily premeditated, but of the current election and presidential situation that you know, we're pooling our energy and resources and efforts together to really give you, the community, a microphone, to give you a camera, and to showcase a lot of the great talent, both musically and artistic, that's in this area of the Sierra foothills and Gold Country, but also to focus a lot on helping to educate and empower you with information around health, the environment, peace and justice, and we'd like to do a little bit of TED Talk style, some science and technology. So again, welcome to the show, and welcome, Rahasya.
Thank you, Michael.
Good.
Glad
Great
to
to
be
have
here.
you here.
Absolutely.
You had a busy day today. I know you were...
Yeah, we were at the Psychic Health Fair today, and every year that gets more and more dynamic. I've noticed this year, more than any other year, more and more people are looking for alternative ways to look at life, their health, and they're looking for alternative news too, because the news that we get most of the time is from the corporate media, and I'm afraid that's not exactly fair and balanced, if you ask me. So that's what the Lotus Guide is about, KZFR, KVMR. A lot of this is just about getting people to look at some information that can really help them make better decisions.
Great. I know it's something we can all benefit from.
Yeah.
So the psychic fair went well.
Psychic Fair went very well, actually.
I actually went over there and I had my aura read.
Yeah?
Yeah, they said I have a lot of purple and some golds, a little bit of orange down here, and a big conduit to the divine over my head. So I felt pretty positive about that.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, Michael.
So, of course, you know, there are, and really what inspired me to do this show, there's so many great foundation stones in this area, in these communities. I felt really inspired when I moved from Santa Cruz to come up here and basically leave my job at UCSC, Santa Cruz, to help spearhead this show, which could bring all of this great information, very much like Lotus Guide, to light and present in a way that was multimedia, multi-platform, and also entertaining. So we call it edutainment. And but let's talk a little bit about Lotus Guide. You've been doing it for 12 years.
12 years now, and it's taken on a life of its own at this point. It's I'm almost at the point now where I'm just guiding it, because it's out there with a lot of force of its own, momentum. And like I say, this started 12 years ago with an idea, because when we first moved to Chico, there wasn't too much here. The Chico News and Review is a really good newspaper, but there wasn't too much for the alternative health community. And my wife and I, we would go to meditations, and everyone would say, "Hey, did you miss that meditation last night?" Yeah, because the only thing we had here was 2 bulletin boards, and the 2 bulletin boards was where the alternative community basically got their news. So we thought, okay, we had enough money for 1 issue. And we went around this town and we sold ads for a magazine that actually didn't exist at the time. And we had so much people backing us up. It was a good idea, and it was at a good time to do it. And it's just taken off like crazy.
Great. I love reading it myself because, you know, we live in an age of limited attention spans. And if you're still watching, we appreciate it. So thank you. Stay tuned. There's lots of great stuff, not just talking heads for you this evening. But what I like is you have some great articles. They're very, and not too lengthy. They're really short and concise and to the point on essential oils, on yoga, on alternative healing, on diet, on addiction, on stress therapy. Over the years, what are some of the stories that really remain with you?
Oh my.
I mean, this one is amazing about the impact. Well, let's get back to that, about the impact of keeping it pertinent, about the gorillas. What's happening with gorillas and cell phones?
Well, there's a mineral called coltan, and coltan is mined, right now it's being mined by the rebel groups, and they use all of the money to buy arms and ammunition. But the biggest thing, not only that, but they go out and the way they mine coltan, they're devastating the environment for the gorillas. And since they only pay their helpers $10 a month, they get hungry. So when they see a gorilla, they shoot it for the meat. Wow. So, and there's ways to do this. There's ways to get coltan that is totally environmentally safe. But one of the things we mentioned in here that would really help is if people would use their cell phones and use them for 3, 4, 5 years. You know, and don't keep buying new ones. The average cell phone use is 14 months, and people tend to just pitch them away. So we have a place here in Chico where you can turn your cell phone in, and you can buy gorilla-free cell phones now. And it's cell phones that it's actually made with coltan that is mined properly. And this also takes the money away from the rebel groups.
Wow, fantastic.
And it's just a matter of putting light on this stuff.
You don't hear that in the mainstream media, do you?
No, you don't. Yeah.
No, great. And of course, I was over at the psychic fair a little earlier and saw your wife, Daria, there. And you guys are doing so much for the community. And there's lots more I know we can talk about, and we will. But let's keep it moving. We're going to go over now to a show that was produced here in Chico, actually last night at the Women's Center. And we're going to watch a little bit of footage from the David Nelson Band. But before we do that, what do you think? We got something on the tables?
Oh, yeah, always, man.
Yeah, let's go back to DJ Power and give him a little some. And then after that, we'll have some footage from the David Nelson concert last night at the Chico Women's Center.
Good subjects today. Good news, good information. I like your magazine. What we talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is like certainly not the news. Who is that? CNN? I'm an American Bulletin guy myself. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Rahasya from the Lotus Guide, and I'm here at the David Nelson concert without David Nelson because he's recovering. And that sort of is symbolic of life because we're all here recovering. So, it's a really great show.
Live in the studio with Rahasya from the Lotus Guide, which has been a publication that's been in existence for 12 years. And as we all know, we're kind of having this big convergence here with the Golden Road Radio, which has now morphed into a weekly television show. We actually broadcast every Sunday live from 6 to 8 p.m. through multiple counties. You can check out the website at goldenroadradiohour.com, but we're also now a television show reaching into several of the counties around Gold Country and the Sierras. So we're here live in the studio with Rahasya and Lotus Guide, non-corporate media. It's been a great idea for a long time, but extremely pertinent now with the election and
Extremely important.
yeah.
Even though it's called for healthy living, we're actually being drawn into this other area that we've labeled Rahasya Uncensored. And Rahasya Uncensored actually is a response to the community, because the community has been asking me. We broke the news like with chemtrails, with vaccinations, with EMF waves, and a lot of different things. We were probably a little bit early because we got a little bit of flack, but we started getting so much response off of these kinds of articles. It made us realize that we need to branch out and hit some of these fringe areas. And we've even touched on UFOs and the secret space program. But the biggest thing is some of the whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are starting to speak out now. And if we don't support whistleblowers the way we should, it could be a problem. These people are giving up their lives, their careers, everything to tell us what's going on. And a good example is with cigarettes. I mean, if some of those early people didn't speak out, the chemists, and tell us what is really going on, we wouldn't have done any of this. And as we know, these people will testify in front of Congress, they will lie. So it's really good to have a medium where I can really speak. And when I say uncensored, I mean it is uncensored. So, you know, like this one is about CERN. Should we be concerned? This is when they opened up the Hadron Collider. And when I first wrote this, people didn't really realize what was going on, but they're opening up a portal, an interdimensional portal. And they're expecting things to come through back and forth from other dimensions. And I think we should pay attention to this.
And not only that, I mean, there's been a lot of research about their idea of like working with really the fabric of reality, what we know as dark matter, and trying to understand this this cohesive force that kind of binds everything together. And by things like CERN and also other things that they're using with like HARP, located up in Alaska, that they're really trying to test the real fabric of reality and seeing what they can do and what the limitations of what science can do. But a lot of it is just really dangerous and not good science at all. But it really
we
is
need
a
to keep it,
threat.
this needs to be transparent. Like at CERN, they have something called the living room. After all of the other researchers go home, they do their private research. And this is what's going on that we really need to pay attention to, because these experiments are actually ripping tiny fragments of our dimension, and we're crossing over into other dimensions. And most scientists today will readily agree, if they had to put their money on what is reality, most of them would say that this is a conscious projection of light, a holographic projection. And these people are messing with it. And I think as we go on and check out some of these other things, we're going to start seeing that we need to pay attention, because if we don't, these people are known to make mistakes. They're known to get out there, and they have billions and billions of dollars. And these experiments are really crucial. They're really important, so we can find out what is reality, what is happening here. If we don't stretch ourselves and really check this out.
And not even around, you know, science around such things like quantum mechanics and such, even the simple science of things that are happening right now with the petroleum industry or the pharmaceutical industry, and really the huge detrimental effect that it's had on people all over the world, things like you said, vaccinations and chemtrails. So one of the good things I feel, without being overly political, is that with the recent presidential election, this is really a wake-up call of how polarized this country really is. And you know, we had the Occupy movement between the one percenters, the have and the have-nots, and the people that are kind of at the top of the toxic mix of capitalism and democracy, where the strongest and the most driven and sometimes the most corrupt people tend to rise to the top of the food chain. So I know a lot of these things just really have come to light. Things like movies like What the Bleep, movies like Thrive and other things like that. But I really think we're going to see an acceleration of people really starting to wake up and realize that that humanity is at a crossroads. And I know this has been a big passion of mine. I worked on a film project years ago for 2012 called Converge, and it was based on an event we did in Mexico called Synthesis, where we brought together different religious leaders and spiritual leaders and environmental educators and artists from all over the world to try to explore and express what 2012 actually meant to all of us, and to try to paint an actual picture of what this new paradigm could potentially look like. So it's a real wake-up call, and that's another reason why, you know, we have this deep commitment to doing this show. So if you're just tuning in, you're watching Golden Road Television. We're broadcasting live here, doing the full moon, super moon, and we have lots more show to come over. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a PSA right now, and then we're going to let's jump over into some local arts here in just a minute. And I just want to thank all the team here helping to make this possible. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with lots more show, more in-studio guests. We have Skylar from the Fab Lab, and we got some other great footage with Meg Amor and Roxy. We have the Parade of Lights, which happened a few weeks ago, and lots more. So stay tuned as we go over now to Meg Amor and Roxy.
Yeah, what you dream and what you make, what you love, what you create, it's a gift to this world. So go and spread the word. You are love. Won't you dance? Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. One life, one love, one dream, one team, all in the same, under one name in which we came. Won't you dance? Doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter who you love. All life is equal. You ain't no one above. Perfect. You are perfect. 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 You are the gift of love. Whoa. Whoa, one life, one love, one dream, one team, all in the same, under one name in which we came. One life, one love, one dream, one dream, all in the same, under one name in which we came.
Martina, we're here in the studio live at Rahasya, and with DJ Power, Kenya Dance with Inspirations, lots more. We have Skylar coming up from Fab Lab. But again, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. It's
And-
my pleasure.
And it feels relative that we're here during this whole time, right? Fallout from the election, of course, the supermoon. And what we're hoping is that at least maybe once a month or so you could come on and do Rahasya Uncensored. I know you're
Yeah, I'd love to.
a wealth of information, and we would love to be in collaboration with Lotus Guide and obviously help support and really to help identify and bring some of these resources in the community out so that people have the opportunity to be made aware. And that's really a big part of the Golden Road, is that we're kind of helping to, open the way or look at other optional pathways and roads to enjoy a better quality of life. That can be through our own personal health. It could be being aware of things that are happening around peace and justice. Later in the show, we have a great clip coming from Standing Rock, and we'll have a little report on that. But just to get content, again, that we don't see on corporate media. So before we go, any words of more wisdom you would like to leave us with?
Well, I think we're living in times right now. We're living in a transitional time between one system that was basically dysfunctional, but it worked. And we're trying to morph into another system. And whenever you do that, there's chaos in the middle. And I think it's going to be really important for people to come together and see that within that chaos, there is a sacred emerging pattern of consciousness. And the more attention we can put on that, like this show, for instance, this is consciousness coming through, and there's a pattern within this that if we follow it, nurture it, and bring it on, we're going to find ourselves, I believe, in an amazing world, a world full of wonder and things that we can't even imagine right now. But it's so easy to get caught up in the chaos. And I think shows like this really, really help.
Great, thanks. Well, it helps in all the work that we're doing. And again, I think the new paradigm is putting the whole idea of competition behind us and working more towards community and collaboration. So again, thanks for being on the show. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. And hopefully we'll have you back again really soon, as often as you want to be here with Rahasya Uncensored. So,
Sounds good, man.
But you can't, certain words we can't say, we know that too.
Yeah, we know those words.
Okay, so we're only minutely censored, but keeping compliant with FCC so we can keep broadcasting.
Well, you heard what happened to Art Bell, so be careful.
Yeah, and that's another great show, of course, Coast to Coast.
That's why I love Art Bell. We're going to start getting followed by the government soon if we keep it. It's nice.
All right. Well, why don't you give us some music? Go over to the universal language here, and we'll have a little something from DJ Powell, and we'll be back with much more. We're up talking to Skylar seated up here. Oh, there he is. Okay. You ever use a wireless?